questions. You have 4 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Mark Banner. I'm a co-chair, longtime resident of Penn Hills. I'm running because over the years I have seen a decline in basically what I feel is adequate education for our kids. My wife and I have 5 children. We have 1 that graduated from Penn Hills. We've had, actually 2 that graduated from Penn Hills, and 3 that we had to send to private schools. And we had to send them to private schools for a number of reasons, but because they weren't being challenged. You know, I coach in this district, and I deal with kids and families, and it seems like every day it's a fight to get these kids, you know, the services that they need, whether it be general, whether they have GIEPs, IEPs, it's just a lot. So what I found myself doing is, you know, when I look on social media and I see everybody, you know, voicing their opinions and their issues, I found myself chiming in and complaining right along with them. So this is my chance to stop complaining and hopefully do something. So that's it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We were given this specific question prior to coming here this evening. And when I thought about the question, I really couldn't sum it up into so many words. So I had to write something down because there are many reasons that I'm running for school board director. And it would take me all night, to be honest with you, to stand up here and give you a reason why. So I'm just gonna read to you a little bit what I wrote and tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll go from there. So I'm running for school board director because I am deeply passionate about the future of our community, and I believe that strong, inclusive education is the foundation for our children's success. As an advocate for our youth, our educators, and our community, I want to work collaboratively to ensure that every student receives the best possible education. Our educators are the heart of this process, and I am committed to supporting them with the resources and the recognition that they deserve. Together, we can create an environment where our students are inspired, empowered, and equipped to succeed in an ever-changing world. We have a slogan because there are 4 of us that are running as a slate, and our slogan is, "We are the change." I want to inspire a shift towards progress, a shift towards change, a shift towards unity, and actively listen and advocate for the necessary reforms and ensure that every voice in this community is heard when it comes to education and community. I believe that with the dedication and a shared vision, we can make a positive impact that will last for generations. The next part of the question is, what are your qualifications? I bring over 10 years of board management and 6 years in education administration, 20 plus years in executive leadership and budget management. As a passionate advocate for the community of Penn Hills, I actively work to drive positive change and foster unity. I'm dedicated to ensuring that every voice is heard, as well as committed to creating an equitable and thriving educational environment for all of us. Thank you. Oh, I didn't say my name. Well, most of you in here know me, but my name is Kiana Buckner. I ran for mayor about 2 years ago. I have 2 children in the Penn Hills School District. My oldest son is 17. He is graduating from Penn Hills this year. My youngest is a sophomore. I have 1 minute left, so that is it. Here you go.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Reginald Hickman. I said my name, make sure I did that. I am running for school director on the We Are the Change slate, along with the 2 previous speakers, and Dawn Golden as well. The question of why am I running? I was a principal for many years and interviewed Lord knows how many people to become teachers. And I always looked for three things when I was interviewing somebody to become a teacher in my building. Number one, do you love kids? First and foremost, do you love kids? Do you love children? If you do not have a heart for children, you're in the wrong business. Go find something else to do. Do you love what you teach? Do not get up in front of children trying to teach them math and you hate fractions. Doesn't work, right? Do you love your content? I was a history major. As a historian, I love social studies. Greatest thing ever. Most of you looking at me like something's wrong with me, probably because you had a terrible social studies teacher. Had you had me, you would have loved social studies. Greatest, just knowing the past to get to the future is absolutely phenomenal. Last thing, do you love to teach? Do you love your job? Do you love what it takes to get up in front of a group of students, no matter the age, no matter what time of day, no matter what the content area is, and give them the knowledge or try to get them to know, think, and do things? Because that's what the bottom line with teaching is. That's the bottom line of education. What do we want them to know, think, and do? That's it. It's that simple. I'm running for school board because I love kids. Been doing this for nearly 30 years. I better love kids for as long as I've been doing it. Do you love kids? I love teaching. Greatest job ever. Teaching, education, greatest job ever. So I'm getting into it because the students and the children of Penn Hills deserve a high quality education. Period, point blank. That's not a discussion about whether or not they're receiving that now. It's a discussion on the point that that's what they deserve. And no matter what it is that they're getting now, we can make it better. And through my experience, I know how to make it better because I've been a classroom teacher. So I know when that kid is back there and they've done a good job to go back there and give them a high five. Because I've been an assistant principal, I know that the assistant principal needs more tools in their toolbox than suspension to be able to change a child's behavior. As a principal, I know the importance of parent engagement into the building and how it is we need to come up with new strategies and new ways to make sure that families and parents are involved in schools. I've also served on a school board in Plum for a time when I was in Plum. So I also know the importance of allocating and being responsible with resources. So again, close to 30 years in education. I've done just about everything you can do. I've even swept floors and cleaned lockers, although I wasn't paid to do it. So I've done just about anything you can think about doing when it comes to school. And that's why I think I would be a prime candidate to be on the school board director in Penn Hills. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Monica Colbert, and I am a proud member of the Democratic Committee, and I am seeking your endorsement for school board director. I guess I'm a little bit ignorant. I've moved to Penn Hills about 4 years ago, and I know it as a thriving place with a lot of vitality. And when I grew up in Wilkinsburg, and it was always kind of a dream to move to Penn Hills. So I feel like I made it, I'm living the dream. So I'm a little bit ignorant to some of the negative narratives that I've been privy to tonight. I think part of the vitality in thrivingness of Penn Hills is, yes, due to, we talked a lot about home ownership, and it's very important to have most of these homes filled, to have taxes, to be able to support the community. But what goes hand in hand with that is our schools. Schools, having great schools, great education systems are critical to having a great, thriving community and lasting vitality. As I said earlier, I grew up in Wilkinsburg. When I was in the 4th grade, my parents sent me to parochial school because teachers were on strike. And they were on strike for over 3 months, and my parents were fearful that I'd have to repeat a grade. Now that was a temporary solution, It was never intended that I would continue my education through parochial schools. But when it was time for me to come back to become part of the Wilkinsburg school system, in the late 80s, 90s, crime had gone up. There were gang wars, there were Crips and Bloods fighting in Wilkinsburg and Homewood, and it just wasn't a viable place. And in fact, as we all know now, there is no Wilkinsburg High School anymore. We can't let that or things like that happen here in Penn Hills. We need a thriving school district. I have spent the past 25 years of my life working in education, dedicated to education in all realms, in teaching and administration. I currently work in DEI. I am about the holistic support of students. I want to know, do they have enough to eat? Because if they don't have enough to eat, they can't think in the classrooms. I want to know, are teachers supported? Do they have the materials they need to do their jobs? Are we in alignment with our community, our expectations? I have a lot of experience that just spans a lot of different things involving education. And I would love to bring my expertise. My mouth is getting dry and it's water. I'd love to bring my expertise to Penn Hills. Thank you.
My name is Nicole Richardson. I am seeking your endorsement for re-election to the school board. I'm coming up on completing my first term as a school board director. The reason why I decided to run in the beginning is because I'm a parent. So I have 5 children, 4 are currently school age and are in the school district. And I followed along the financial troubles that the school district was having. So when it was time for me to move from Georgia back to Pittsburgh, I came back to Penn Hills. My family moved to Penn Hills when I graduated high school back in I won't tell you that, but my family moved to Penn Hills. And so I followed along with the financial issues of the district, and being a parent and having my children educated in the district, I wanted to make sure that our district was strong, not just with our curriculum, but also with our finances. Having a school district and financial recovery is hard. It's a lot of work. So we definitely had to make a lot of difficult decisions to get the school district back on track. I'm running for re-election because the work is not done. We are still in financial oversight. If we slip with our finances, the state could take over Penn Hills School District. So I'm running for re-election because I want to ensure that we keep the district moving in a positive direction, being responsible fiscally, increasing our curriculum so we have more offerings. We have to change how education looks. And as a school board, we've recognized that. We've listened to our teachers, we're listening to our families, and starting to implement some of the changes that they want to see. We're working in the middle school, in the high school. We've introduced new programming to keep the interest of our students and to prepare them for their post-secondary pathway, whichever that may be. We've added fine arts to the elementary school. We added a nursing program to our middle school that will expand into our high school. We are also changing what high school looks like for Penn Hills students. More of that to come. But that was introduced at our last curriculum meeting. So there's a lot of change that's happening. We're moving in the right direction. Our elementary school recently came off the bottom 15% list. That's an achievement. And we're seeing test scores go up across all buildings for the first time in a long time. So that was another big achievement. We also are upgrading our facilities. Linton got a nice facelift. We still have a lot more work to do. So I'm asking for your endorsement for re-election to continue the work. to move Penn Hills School District forward. Thank you.
I'm running for re-election as well. Why am I qualified to continue on the school board? So I've been a school director for the last 3.5 years. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I continue to look forward to learning more. There's always things that we can learn. There's always new challenges, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm committed to this district. I have twin daughters that graduated from Penn Hills in 2012, and they're doing very well. They love their school. They love Penn Hills. They don't say anything bad about Penn Hills, and they get upset when someone does, and so do I. So I'm just committed to that. But one of the other things I think that's important from my qualifications is that I'm a mental health advocate. I've been in the mental health field for over 20 years. I work for Western Psychiatric Hospital, and I also work for Mercy Behavioral Hospital as well. So with those skills, one of the things that I would like to see is continuing with the mental health programs in our district, in our schools. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot of programs that we have for children, starting with elementary, going into middle school, and going into the high school. I want to make sure that those programs stay within our district and within our schools. I feel with my skills and my talents, my knowledge, I can do that. I can continue, just like Ms. Richardson said, to continue to help move the district forward. Mental health is a big issue right now. I don't think there's anybody in this room that would disagree with that. We have to make sure that our kids are getting what they need. We have to make sure that they're getting what they need when it comes to their mental health. One of the things I would love to see, I don't know if I can pull this off, but I can try, is there a way that a mental health class or something could be taught, right? Whether it's an elective. We all could learn coping skills, right? Everybody in this room probably has coping skills. If you don't, think about it tonight when you go home. What's one thing you can do that's going to help your mental illness, right? Mental health. If you think about your life and where you are now, has there been a time when you had an acute episode of mental health, right? You could have had a loss of a parent. You could have lost your job. What did you do? What kind of skills do you have? We have to think about this with our children. When we think about test scores and whether or not our children are not doing well, could mental illness be a part of that? What's going on in their background? What's going on in their lives? How can we help that out? So we want to make sure that in our school district and all our schools that we are on top of those things and those programs and everything that we have to offer for our children. So I challenge everyone, when you go home tonight, just think about that. Think about what is it that I can do to help myself. And if you have kids in the district, what can you do for your children? I used to do that with my kids. So that is my platform, mental health. Not saying that I don't know other things that can help with the school district, because I feel like I do. My mother was an educator for over 30-some years. I still remember things that she would do and things that she would say. And my mother was very respected. So I have that in the back of my mind too. And sometimes I feel like I have that teaching, I'll stand up in front of people and I'll just talk, because I get that from my mother. I can just talk and I can just teach. So I can mental illness, mental health, I can talk about that all day. I think I have 30 seconds? So I can just go on and on, but I'm here to say, I'm looking for your endorsement. Want to be back on the school board because I want to make sure we're keeping the mental health programs going. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Herbert, and I've been on the school board for 8 years consecutively. I was also elected school board director from 2000 to 2004 when I was endorsed by Jay Costin and the Democratic Party. We have worked as a team, and you see I say team because that's what it takes on the school board. You have to work as a team. You have to learn to like each other. So we have worked as a team to make sure this district got out of recovery, and I am committed to following through on our promises to continue moving this district forward in a positive direction. I am also committed to not raising our taxes, and I am here for all our children to make sure they receive a quality education. I am here for the right reasons, and I have proven it. I am willing to work with the community on educating our children and open to hearing recommendations to better our school system. Therefore, I'm asking for your endorsement. I would like to say, in the mental health field, I'm an executive assistant for the chair for the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health at AHN, and I'm asking for your endorsement. Thank you.
I'm here, first of all. My name is Joseph Capizzoli. I'm seeking re-election. This is my 5th year right now that I'm on the school board. I was appointed 1 year and then elected to a 4-year term. This is the 4th year of that term. Other than that, in the area, as far as Penn Hills is, I've been involved since the year 2000. I was a zoning board officer, appointed then, and I'm still on that board, thankfully, and do a lot of good things there. Here, in the district here, would say that, you know, in the last 4 years, financially, it's, you know, for us, it was a real big thing because we were in a hole. At the end of the 1920 school year, we were $245,000 in a hole. The end of last school year, we're $16.6 million good. That's amazing. Plus, our debt has reduced by $13 million along with that. That's nearly $30 million collectively we were able to work together with to do. And as far as a team, yes, I worked very closely with these these three ladies here for the last 4 years, and want to continue to do that. You know, educationally, I know when we started, we were in as was said, in the bottom 15% across the state. That is getting better and better. We have a new superintendent who's doing a great job for us. We're more informed now with him than we ever have been, and it's showing. Our test scores in the first quarter were up again. The second quarter up again. So we are doing good there. Educationally, financially, we're doing well. Millions of dollars in projects. You know, we have a total cost of projects completed and scheduled to be done were $24 million. And again, we are out of debt. As far as, you know, as far as that, we won't be borrowing. Our debt was reduced from, I just spoke with the financial guy yesterday, was from 163 to $150 million. So again, it was $13 million we took off of that. As far as tax increases, no, there won't be one this year. And a few years back, it was probably, I won't say 2 or 3 years ago, we're in recovery, and the state wanted us to increase by 2.5 mils. We refused to do that. Collectively, as a group, we received letters that they would come in and take over, you know, take us into receivership, which would mean they would come in and do what they wanted to do, and no one has a say. So we did stand up to that. Senator Costa helped us hugely there, and we went through with a 1.5 mil increase, and that was it. So that was a great savings to all of us taxpayers, and I want to thank you for that and your continued support. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dawn Golden, and I am currently serve as the Assistant Superintendent for Student Support Services for the Pittsburgh Public Schools. So why am I running here in Penn Hills? I am running here in Penn Hills, because I have children that still attend our school buildings. And I recognize the challenges that we have. And so I would love to be a part of making those necessary changes for our students. I think whenever I was here before, I talked about the need to focus on the whole child. And when I say the whole child, that means their academics, their social, emotional, and their behavioral. We have to make sure that they are well in order for academics to be a priority. And so with that, I've worked in the field. I have many connections to community organizations, to people at our local hospitals and our local universities that can bring some of those supports in for our students. The second reason why I want to be a part of this school board is because on my experiences. I started as a school counselor because I loved helping people. I felt like that was not just my passion, but my purpose. And I think that whenever you are in the field of education today, it has to be a passion and it has to be a purpose because there are so many challenges that you're dealing with. I moved into the role of an assistant principal. So like my colleague, I know what it's like to be that person to just focus on discipline. However, you have to meet kids where they are. And one of the things that I loved being was a middle school principal, because we know that there come all their glitz and glamour every day. I tell people that it was like a box of chocolates. You literally never knew what you were going to get in any given day. But it's important because those children, those students, my babies, built me into the educator that I am. I made connections with them. I made connections with their families. I keep in contact with them. I love them. You truly have to love what you do in this space. And so I think that bringing those experiences, as well as my love for kids, families, the community, and the commitment to make sure that the district stays fiscally sound are reasons why I should be a part of the school board. As I shared prior to coming into the field of education, I forgot to mention that this is year 25 for me, so there's a little glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. But prior to that, I served in the field of mental health. And with that, I served as a teacher counselor at a youth emergency shelter for homeless children. I served as a clinical supervisor, and where I had to go into homes to provide therapy, and I also supported the staff with that. So I believe that my array of experiences make me a qualified candidate for the school board, along with working with colleagues collaboratively and with integrity. Those are two very important words for me. And so with 30 seconds, I'm done, and I would love to have your endorsement. Thank you.
Wow. I'm giving it to you, so. This is a kind of a difficult question. I'm getting ready to tell you what the question is. The question is, should we teach religion in schools? Unfortunately, we cannot. However, I do feel that children should have freedom of speech, right? For example, my kids they do every sport known to man, but they're on a bowling team. They bowl for the bowling league in Penn Hills. And there are a few young ladies on that team that come to the matches covered in their garments because they're not allowed to show their hair. They're not allowed to wear pants, so they have to wear skirts and they have to cover their bodies. So that is freedom of speech. They are exercising their right and their religion. However, they're not pushing it on everybody because unfortunately we have to separate separate that. So unfortunately, that is a good question, but we cannot teach religion in schools.
I've taught religion in schools as a social studies teacher. You have to do it. You can't teach the history of the world and not teach religion. You simply cannot. So you can start with the ancient Egyptians and their faith, and then you can talk about how Judaism came from that, and you can talk about how Christianity came from that, and Islam came from that, and then you can talk about how all of them are connected, might do a nice Venn diagram. If we pull down the board, I can get started on this right now. I got a lesson plan in mind. No, you definitely teach religion in schools. You just don't proselytize about it. Right? No, it doesn't matter what my faith is when I step into the space. I just cannot proselytize about it. You're right, it's a public school, but that does not mean you do not teach religion. You can certainly teach it, you just can't try to get somebody to take on your faith. And it would be irresponsible not to teach it.
I'm gonna be quick because I think the answer is pretty simple. You teach inclusion and belonging. You teach that a student can bring their whole selves into the classroom or whatever room they enter, and that they deserve to be respected, and they should expect to be expected. So we teach inclusion, we teach belonging, we teach bring your whole self and expect to be who you are. And we're going to honor that.
I have to agree with both the kid went before me, but yes, we can't teach our own personal religion in school, but there's opportunity for students to fellowship with each other after school. And there is a Bible club at the Lent Middle School that happens after school for those students to come together in communion with each other at that time. But definitely teaching respect of others and ensuring that everybody feels included and nobody feels left out because they practice one faith compared to another faith. So definitely teaching respect and making sure that everybody feels included. And I think that's one thing that we definitely start at the elementary level all the way up. Thank you.
So I agree with, I think we started right here. So I agree as well. That's a hard one to teach religion in schools. I think I mentioned earlier, one of the programs that I work at, Mercy Behavioral Health, we actually have, it's patients that are there, for mental health treatment. And we've had some that have come in with different religions. Like we have someone right now who's Muslim, we have someone right now who's Jewish, and we have someone who's Christian, but we want to make sure that although they believe in what they believe in, again, it doesn't go, you're not putting on everyone else. Everyone has a right to be respected with the religion that they believe in, but yet not having it go to everybody else if that's not what they want. So that's what we do in the program that I work in. So yeah, so I agree. I do not feel like it should be in the schools. I do feel if people want to do that outside of schools or anything like that, like clubs or what have you, I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Hi, this is going to be quick because I don't believe that it should be taught in schools, religion, but the club is fine after school. I mean, there's so many religions, so I believe that if they want to meet after school, they can. So.
Yes, I agree that we can't force it onto them, but we do offer Bible studies, and that's good. Myself, I went to Catholic school, but here, we're not able to just do that, the Bible study things, and we'll probably grow from there, franchising some other things for all the different religions. So that would be it for us. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up the rear and say that, yes, we can't legally teach religion. However, I feel like it's a matter of understanding and appreciating diversity and what each student brings to the table, right? So embracing those conversations when students initiate them and be okay with having those conversations. But I would say as a whole, getting up in front of a classroom, those days unfortunately are gone. So we have to figure out creative ways to have those conversations with our students.
So respectfully, I'll say no to that because I'm a spiritual person, but I rely on my wife to pray for me every day. I was hoping that the questions respectfully would be a little bit tougher. I think our kids, we need to get a sense of urgency. Our kids are really in trouble, and I think that's one of the last things on the list when it comes. So I'm going to say no. Thank you.
Refusing to attend our public schools in favor of parochial and charter schools. What are your plans to increase the percentage of Penn Hills students that attend the Penn Hills public schools? So when I was an administrator with the Woodland Hills School District, we faced the same problem. And we had a new superintendent at the time, and he had the vision of opening up the Woodland Hills Academy. And I was the founding principal of that school. The idea was for us to do something innovative that had not been done with any public school in this area. And we had a longer school day, we had a longer school year, we had school uniforms, we taught interest level classes to students, we had 90 minutes of reading instruction, 90 minutes of math instruction.
Open tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thank you and have a good night.
And we ended up with 3 years in a row of the highest test scores in the history of the Woodland Hills School District. And I know for a fact that's still the case to this day. And that was going on 12 years ago. I say that to say is, there's ways that you can do it. You just have to be innovative in your thinking. So if you want to pull folks back from those schools, you better start doing things. We have to start doing things that are different than the things that are going on in those schools, and also different than things that are going on in our schools now. So you have to be innovative in the way in which you think about time, the way in which you think of curriculum, the way in which you think about personnel, technology. All of those things have to be thought about in a different way, in an innovative way, to bring people back to the district.
We have to look at what's not working. I've already begun to start to do this work. I started polling some neighbors of mine who have taken their kids out of Penn Hills School. And I started asking them the reasons why. What is working for you in these other schools? What wasn't working for you in Penn Hills School District? And so the first thing I'm doing is listening. The second thing I'm doing is saying, you know what, we don't have to necessarily be in competition with these schools. Let's figure out, again, how are they innovating? How are they using tech? What promises are they fulfilling? How is their curriculum superior or stronger? And how can we bring that to Penn Hills and keep and retain our students? We have access to the same things they do, and if it's a matter of using our tax dollars differently, reallocating them so that we're spending not, and I don't know exactly where they're spent right now, but maybe not 90% on security, but more on teacher support and materials in the classroom. Sorry, my time.
So thank you for this question. So one thing that we have done as a school board, as a current school board, is that we listen to our parents. When parents take their kids and leave the district, we ask them to do an exit survey. And so we have started to examine the results of those exit surveys and starting to put in some of the change that our current parents that they want to see, and parents that have left the district, of the reason why. The number one reason that parents are saying they are leaving our district is the rigor of our curriculum. That's what 80% of the parents are saying. So we are taking a look at curriculum across elementary, middle, and high school, adding new curriculum, looking at evidence-based curriculum, taking a look at our assessments that are happening beginning, middle, and end of year, and making changes and being aggressive in our approach. Come out to school board meetings so you can understand what's going on with changes to the high school.
Nicole, did you mean lack of rigor instead of people are leaving because of the rigor?
The lack of rigor, I apologize. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
So a couple of things that have already been mentioned in terms of how do we bring our kids back. I actually did sort of the same thing. I have a couple friends that have pulled their kids out of Penn Hills and put them in charter schools. And one of my friends said, I said, well, why can't you, bring your daughter here? We're trying to do some positive changes up at the high school, increasing our security, what have you. And guess what? She said, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. And she put her daughter in the high school. And she's doing well in the high school. So I think that we just have to get that message out there, the positive things that we're doing in the district, and the positive things that we're trying to do, things that we're trying to put in place so that people feel safe, bringing their kids back into the district. I'm sorry, I think my time's up. That's all.
Hi, basically what everybody else said, but we also did have sort of kind of like, not robocalling, but it was people who were calling we had a team of people calling homes to see why people were leaving the schools and trying to get them back into the schools. So.
Yes, as far as addressing them, yes, we've had people who have been reaching out to those families who have taken their kids to charter schools. Some reasons are internal issues in the district that are being addressed on a better level than before. We have better security now than we have had before. So that's improvement there. Yes, we are reaching out to the families to have them come back here. As far as the education part, that is increasing. As far as the learning things, in the rigor of it. So hopefully it's going to turn around for us. We are working on it because it's a huge cost to us, and that's a lot of money, tax money going out. So we do address it. Thank you.
So I would just kind of echo what everybody else has said, but one of the things that was important to me and what people need to understand is that people leave based on their experience. There was something perhaps that happened, something that they've heard that makes them seek other opportunities. And so what I said, which wasn't popular whenever I worked in the district, was that we have to look at what we're doing. We have to look at our practices and what we're doing and look at the data and use that data to make changes, right? Because if you don't use it, if you just collect it and you don't use it, it's pointless. So for me, it's a matter of looking at what we do, assessing what we do, assessing why people are leaving, and making the necessary changes to make things better.
So I take a half a day once a week to go to the middle school or stop past the high school and just check on the kids. And I can tell you from personal experience, kids are not being engaged. Security is not a thing when kids are in the classroom and they're participating. You don't need all that security. They're not being given what they need. I am paying for my daughter to go to Shady Side Academy because she's not getting what she needs. She's a gifted child. She's just not getting it. So it's more than sending out surveys and asking questions. Honestly, people need to go into the schools and hold educators accountable. And parents too, there's a disconnect. We gotta reach out to the parents. We gotta do better on the community level. We can't just keep sitting around talking about it, having meetings. Thank you.
So I'm going to say definitely ditto, but one of the things that ditto to what you said, Dawn, because when I saw the question, the first thing that came to my mind is we have to look at the man in the mirror, right? We have to look at what we are currently doing, what is happening in our schools now. We have to look at our educators. We have to advocate for our educators. We have to advocate for our children. But most importantly, we have to advocate to get our parents involved. Let them know what's happening. Let them know what's going on with their students. I'm with at least 20 to 30 students a day. And when I listen to the stories that they tell me about the things, like Coach Banner said, that goes on inside of our schools, we have to be the village. We have to create the change. We have to look within inside ourselves as a district, as a board, to make that change. And so I ditto with what my colleagues here said. We are the change. We have to look at the man in the mirror and fix it.
What is the advantage or disadvantage to incumbency? Please discuss. As I hand it off to an incumbent. I think the advantage is obviously, kind of been there, done that. You have some experience, however little or long that is, that you have privy to know some particular problems or issues or challenges to this school district. I have 25 years of experience, but I will learn a lot about what is particular to Penn Hills when I come on board as school director, if I'm so lucky to do so. So I think, experience, but also I think everybody has a talent to bring. And I have been working with students for years. I just celebrated my first year anniversary at my job, and when I got the job, part of my title is Director of Access and Transition. And even though I work at a college, I was told my work is really with high school students. Last week I went to SciTech and Franklin Regional. I emailed with Principal Taylor and some of the guidance counselors at Penn Hills High School. I go to Kappa next week, and what giving them access to was about, I wasn't really sure. It turns out it's giving them access to STEM, giving them access to different kinds of programming in science, in math, and helping them transition into whatever careers they want to do. So I bring a lot of expertise, and especially when it comes to budgeting. The last meeting we had here, I had to go home and I had a grant due by midnight. Today I spent all day working on a $3 million PNC grant. So I'm learning, I've learned a lot in my first year at this new job, and I have a lot of expertise to bring. So I think there's positives and negatives all around.
So I would say one of the positives of being an incumbent is that after going through a term, I feel a lot more confident in my abilities in working with the board and working with my colleagues, working with the superintendent and the administrators. I have a better understanding of our district finances, what our goals are, long-term 3-5-year goals. And I just feel more confident in being able to talk to parents about things that are going on in the district, being able to communicate where we're trying to take the district. The disadvantage could be is that after some time, people just kind of become stagnant, not very open to change or wanting to make a lot of adjustments or move into a different direction. But our board, for the most part, is a fairly new board. Not when I say new, I mean most of us are one term, we're finishing up a term. So I feel like there's a lot of building that we still are looking to do. Thank you.
I would say for me, the advantage of being an incumbent is just, again, the growth and the knowledge that I've learned by being on the school board. Again, like I stated earlier, there's always room for growth. There's always room for learning. And I've learned a lot about like the finances. Again, finances is not my strong point. I told you my strong point is it's mental health and children and trying to do what's best for them. And then I would say the disadvantage is if, I don't know, somebody don't like you, or they don't think you know what you're doing. That's gonna be a disadvantage, if, you know, to being an incumbent. You know, but hopefully that's not the way people have seen me these last couple of years. I think I've been a strong board director, and I feel like I can continue to bring that positive change to the district. Thank you.
I think that being an incumbent is, I'm still learning. I've been on the board for 2 terms consistently, but you're always learning. You're always trying to find new ways to do things and to help the school district move forward. And I think the disadvantage is, I don't know what a disadvantage is, because I've just always been trying to move forward and just keep a positive attitude and help out where I can. So.
Good job.
As far as disadvantage, I understand how some people could think that, you know, you become stale and things aren't progressing. As far as being an incumbent, as it was said, you know, your first term, you're really just learning for half of that term. You're learning what's going on, and more you grow each day. So building cohesiveness, as I can say we have done, is huge. You know, we've done it educationally and financially as a group together. So I think that incumbency, because of cohesiveness, is important. So thank you.
So I would say that the advantage to being an incumbent is having that knowledge, right? The people that are there obviously know things that myself and my other colleagues that aren't on the board don't have. We don't have that knowledge. But I also think that that's a good thing, because you bring fresh ideas. You bring a new perspective. You bring a different area of expertise. You bring a level of cohesion that may or may not be there. So I would say that, you know, being that newbie, that new person, you have to learn it, but you also bring different skill sets and qualities to enhance the personnel that are already on the board.
I think Ms. Dawn was looking at my notes, and that's exactly what I was going to say.
So I think the advantage to being an incumbent is definitely the growth. It is the cohesiveness. But I think the disadvantage to being an incumbent is making promises that you can't keep. I think the disadvantage is you say one thing, but we see another. Actions speak louder than words.
I am just going to maybe reject the premise of the question and answer it this way. It's not about how long, but how strong. It doesn't matter how long you've been there, how long you haven't been there. It's about the game that you bring to it. What is the strength of your character? What is the strength in the depth of your experience that will help determine whether or not you, first of all, you can become an incumbent, and second of all, whether or not you deserve to be reelected. So it's not about incumbency, disadvantage, or advantage. It's about how long. It's not about how long, but it's about how strong.
Oh, no. I was done. Oh, yes.
Okay, good question. So the question is, attendance levels at the Penn Hills School is one of the worst in the state and continues to decline. Enrolled students are missing too many school days. How would you reverse attendance levels? This has been a topic of school board discussion it's been a main topic of discussion. And so one thing that we have been advocating for was an attendance officer, right? There's only so much that one person can do. We have to do this as a team. So we have got the funding to add an attendance officer. We have hired an attendance officer over the summer, this summer of 2024. She has been in place so far since August, and she is making a lot of progress. Not only is she just focused on attendance and consequences to attendance, but also looking at the student, at the family as a whole, and understanding what is the root cause for this student having high levels of absences, and really working with the family and putting services in place, like Marissa talks about with mental health. Sometimes there may be something going on, there may be housing issues, there may be other issues, and connecting that family with our school social workers, with the school counselors, with other programs, community programs that we have in the schools, and helping to correct and get that student in school. We know our data shows when kids are in school at Penn Hills, the students are learning and they're thriving. We see those students' test scores. We just had a presentation on this where we saw the test scores of students that have increased their attendance, their scores from the beginning of the year, their assessments to the middle of the year. We have seen consistent growth across all 3 buildings. So that is something that we are actively working on and is one of our goals across the district.
So honestly, I couldn't have said it better than with how Ms. Richardson put it. So that was like a big step for the district to have Ms. Talia Duck become our attendance officer. We welcome that. We took some time in terms of what we were looking for in terms of her skill set and how she could help our students, because it is important. If kids aren't in school, they're not learning. So we had to narrow that down and figure out how are we going to solve this problem. And so with her on board, that has really stepped up and has helped our children out. And again, finding out what's the barriers, what are there barriers to why children aren't in school. We have to figure that piece out. And again, that goes back to some of the programs that we are offering in the district. Thank you.
And piggybacking on what they said, we're really glad to have Ms. Duck in the school district. We are all concerned about kids not coming to school. I mean, it could be one of your kids just skipping out in school, and so we're so concerned, and that's why we brought Ms. Duck in, and hopefully things will improve.
Yes, I would just echo a lot of that. Since we put a attendance officer in, we get reports that things have gotten better. There are outside reasons that are completely out of our control. But, you know, as far as family things. But with the officer that we have in here, things have gotten better. We've got reported to us that things have increased. So things are going in a positive direction here. So thank you.
So I would agree, and I am glad to hear that Ms. Duck is doing a phenomenal job, because she was one of the last hires that I recommended before I left the school district. So I am extremely excited that she is doing the job. In addition to what has already been said about, you know, making sure and looking at students and why they're not attending, I also think it's important to support the parents. You know, sometimes our parents have those barriers, and that is the reason why students aren't attending. You know, our students, we have a number of our students, not only in our district, but many others, who are that parent figure. So just figuring out how we can support parents is also an important component to making sure our kids attend school, as well as making sure that learning, that what they're doing in school is fun, that how do I want to say it? That it means something to them. If learning doesn't mean anything to them, if they can't connect it to real world experiences, then they don't see a reason to come.
think the kids having a reason to come in and be engaged is good for them. Like a lot of kids are excited to go to school. And there's some kids that don't show up to school so they can make sure they get 2 or 3 meals, but they like going to school. So like they say, probably support to the parents is the biggest thing, and that's the disconnect that we have between the district and the parents.
So really quickly, I think my colleague said earlier, looking at the whole child, I think we have to make school a place where the kids want to be. I was on a committee that Dr. Mazzocco put together for this very situation. And we talked about what are some of the reasons that kids aren't in school, or our homeless population in our school district among our young people is very, very high. I myself, as well as Coach Banner, we are the parents in the community that go to the homes and pick up the kids and bring them to school. We take the kids home after school. So I think I echo what they're saying about fostering relationships with the parents, figuring out how we can help the whole child, making school a place where they want to come.
So it's good to hear that there's an attendance clerk, but it has to be more than that. That can only be one part of the solution. What does the data tell us? Are there certain days during the school year when students are absent more than other days? Are those the days before a holiday? Are those the days after a holiday? Do we need to make some adjustments with the school calendar to make sure we maximize when folks can come to school? What's the level of communication that we send home to parents about when school is returning? Sometimes a simple thing like a text message, a text blast can change a whole lot, which could happen to a parent, as opposed to an email or a flyer or a school calendar. We're always on our phones. Little things like that can make a difference. Also, what about incentives in the schools, especially with middle school kids? Incentives go a long way. You can do class-wide, you can do school-wide incentive programs. Whatever class gets the highest level of attendance for a week, they get some sort of incentive or something such as that. There are ways to do it. There are evidence-based strategies on how to do this that the district should be doing, considering the fact that it is under a school improvement plan, and so they should be using evidence-based strategies. There are some of these. I know what these are. These are changes that I will put in place.
I basically agree with everything that's been said, and especially a holistic approach, engaging parents. I also believe in throwing new ideas at things, and in terms of incentivizing students. I know we've in the past at certain institutions I've worked at used apps. Students like gaming, they like apps. We use an app called Engage where they check in before they lock their phones up. It incentivizes them to have some kind of self-accountability, yeah, just everything that's been said. Thank you.
So we only have time for one last question. It's going to be the closing statement. You have 2 minutes to just say whatever you want to end with. I just wanted to give a shout out to Judge Candidate Jamie Hickton is here. And I saw Elizabeth Hughes earlier, but I think she's not here anymore.
Yeah,
she was here. Yeah. Okay.
Elizabeth here.
Yeah. All right. So, Marissa, it's your turn. 2 minutes, everyone, to closing, and then we'll call it a night.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I'm glad that you had the opportunity to hear my voice, to hear more about me if you did not know about me in terms of what my platform is, and my enthusiasm and my continued commitment to the Penn Hills School District and to the children that we serve, the families that we serve. I look forward to continuing that work. I look forward to pushing this district forward. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we're not the only district. There's lots of work to be done everywhere. So we're committed to that. I'm committed to that. I know we still have some challenges, but again, we're a good board. We've done some great things in the district, and again, there's still work to be done, but we're positive that we're gonna get this work done. And again, we're committed to that. I'm committed to that, and I'm looking forward to your endorsement and keep me on the school board. Thank you.
Hi again, thank you for coming out, and there is a lot more work to be done in the school district, and we're hoping that we can continue to do that with your endorsement, and we're moving in the right direction, and I would like to continue that work.
Yes, as a district, educationally, we are better. We are, those scores we see are continuing to go up and up, so that's good. It's a reflection of the kids and their learning. Fiscally, I was a state auditor for like 28 years, so we'd like to stay on top of that. If we increase taxes just for you, if you gotta pay it, I gotta pay it too. So we're not there to just say we can make across the board things like that. We're not gonna have a raise this year. Again, as I said before, we fought against the state education department in the past to keep the tax at a minimum for us. And that's very important to us, our seniors, and everyone. So thank you again, thanks for coming out. Thank you, help for your support.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. As I'm sitting here thinking how to respond to or to provide my final words, I would just say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And so at this point, I hear that our board, they're making some progress, but our kids deserve more, they deserve better. Our parents deserve more, our parents deserve better. Our community does more, our community deserves better. And so with the change, some of the changes that new personnel could bring to that board, I think should be welcomed. I will learn everything that I need to learn. I'm really good at that. And I think that, a fresh perspective is never a bad thing, ever. We bring different experiences, we bring different thoughts, we bring different ideas, we bring a growth mindset, and so I think that those things are critical whenever we're talking about our children and making sure that they have what they need, because at the end of the day, they're going to be taking care of me, they're going to be taking care of you, and we have to make sure that we are providing them with the necessary tools that they need to be successful in the next phase of their life. Thank you.
I'm not a politician. I don't like the politics and the lives of the kids like intertwined. It's ridiculous to me. What I know is that people would pay all the taxes in the world if they were getting a great product. All right, I mean, you go to the grocery store, you go to a restaurant. If you're getting what you need for the kids, things work out. They're just not getting what they need, and you just have to make changes. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Thank you.
So again, like everyone said, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys so much for staying. I'm such an organized person. Just as I prepared my opening statement, I prepared my closing statement. As a candidate for school board director, I am deeply committed to advocating for the education of our children, the well-being of our educators, and the future of our community. I believe that every student deserves a high-quality education, and I, along with my colleagues on the We Are the Change slate, will work tirelessly to ensure that our schools are places where children can thrive, learn, and prepare for the future. Our educators, our teachers, play a pivotal role in shaping our young minds, and I will always support policies that empower and equip them to succeed in the classroom. I understand the importance of a strong community-driven school, and I am dedicated, thoroughly dedicated, to ensuring that our tax dollars are spent wisely and effectively with a focus on programs and resources that directly benefit students and teachers. As a parent, a community member, and a passionate advocate for education, I will work collaboratively with families, educators, and fellow board members to make informed decisions that will benefit every child in our district. I humbly ask again for your vote to help make our school stronger and our community much better.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you to the PHDMs for holding this event and giving us a chance to, for the community to get to know who we are so you guys can make informed decisions. And thank you to the candidates for you guys coming and sharing your thoughts and beliefs about where the district needs to go. This has been a lively discussion and I really appreciate it. This is democracy in action. It's a beautiful thing. We are the change. That's the slate that I'm running with. But change for just the sake of change isn't anything good, right? We just did change in November. Anybody thinking that was good? Because I know I'm not, right? But I can guarantee you this much. We are the change isn't that type of change, right? So we're coming with innovative ideas. We're coming with the idea that we know we need to use data to make informed decisions. We're coming with the idea and with the experience of different programs that we know work, whether or not it's in other districts, other communities, or whatever, but also with the understanding that we gotta know what's going on in Penn Hills and adapt those programs, those ideas, those philosophies to what it is that we have going on here. We need to change or committed to making sure that our students, Penn Hills graduates, when they walk across that stage, when they graduate, that they're gonna be able to compete with the kids from Fox Chapel, with those kids from my Lebanon, those kids from St. Clair. Even though it's my alma mater, we know we gotta get Gateway and Willow Hills too. We know we just gonna throw that in there too. But no, we gotta compete, and I'm determined to make sure that our students are not employees, but employers, right? And so we, the change, are coming in with that mindset that that's the type of school district that we're gonna create. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for staying awake. It's been a long night and it's greatly appreciated. I am lucky enough to work at an institution where plastered all over as a school motto, which is "My heart is in the work." That's by Andrew Carnegie. And I am so lucky to be able to bring heart to work every day, to bring my passion, to advocate for students each and every day. And to do nothing and think about nothing but student success. And I'd be honored to think about your student success and those of our community. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank you all tonight, not just for your time, but for your attention. Really appreciate that. And I just want to leave you with some of the changes that are happening within the district that are moving our district forward, and how we are looking at new ideas to move our district forward. And also, we have a new committee that our board president just adopted after some work, but looking at a parent and community advisory committee within our district. We desperately are looking to ensure, as Dawn said, our students are ready. And as Mr. Hickman said, to ensure that our students can compete. We are making changes across the board that are now, we have made changes and we're now starting to see some of the results of those changes. And that is test scores going up. So that means our students are learning. Attendance going up. Our students are in class. Our buildings are being upgraded. Who doesn't want to go to school in a nice building, in a new building? We've gotten that feedback from our community as well. So just please consider Nicole Richardson as you vote for re-election for school board, for your endorsement. I'm continuing to make change within our school district. Thank you for tonight.